Hi, this is Alice Hendon with the Creator's Leaf. I'm going to walk you through a new project today. I posted this on Instagram within the last week or so, and I had a lot of people ask me how I did this, so I'm going to walk you through the making of this. This particular one was made in the Hanamulla Gray book. You can see that the pages in here are gray. The paper is not super thick, it's 55 pound, but it's made of a non-absorbing surface. So it handles wet media very well. For this particular project, I laid down a layer in blocks of watercolor to begin with, and then I went over it with some acrylic to make these flowers. And what I'm going to show you is this same project, but in a new book that Hanamulla has out called the Cappuccino book. You can see that the pages in this one, well, to begin with, the surface, the cover looks pretty much like the gray book, except it's a brown color for the cappuccino, for the coffee color. The pages are a creamy color, similar to a coffee, which is why they've called it the Cappuccino book. And I'm going to show you what I've done. Blue tape is so that I can keep the book in the camera so you can actually see it. To start with, I did not prep this page in any way. I just took watercolors and made color blocks, very much similar to what we used to do in the old scrapbook days with scrapbook paper when you color blocked out places to put your photographs. I've laid down 2 layers of color. You can see that the only place that it's warped a little bit is right here in this blue box, but it's actually still a little damp. It will flatten out once I close the book and leave it closed overnight with no problem. This paper works great. So what I do to get these flowers on here, I have an old nasty pan of acrylics here, and I have sprayed some water in to try to get this dried up stuff to work again. And I have a 1/2, I know absolutely nothing about paintbrushes. It says 1/2 on there. I didn't realize that was a size, but it is a small flat brush. You see, I am highly technical. It is a small flat brush. I'm going to get it wet. Then I'm going to pick up some of this color. This acrylic will work again, which it looks like it is. And watch how I make these flowers. Super simple. Great. It's super simple when the color works. Just using the flat part of the brush and laying it down in a circle pattern. And that is going to be the basis of a flower that I am totally going to have to go over again because that color didn't work worth a hoot. That is a southern term for not very well. But that's okay. Doesn't make a bit of difference. It will dry and it will be lovely. Because then I'm going to go pick up this other color. Same thing. Put it down, just lay your flat brush down. Let it do the work. This is something I figured out on my own. I'm really impressed that I did that. Usually I have to watch YouTube videos to figure out how to do this stuff, but this one I figured out and it works. Just lay it down, lay it down, lay it down, lay it down, lay it down. And when you need to put more color on there, do it and then go back over it again. It may be that once this is dry, that I go back in here again and put another layer on it. I don't honestly know at this point what my process will be, but that is a good possibility. You'll be able to tell. You know how it lightens up sometimes when it dries? You'll be able to tell if it needs more. So with this purple, God dang it. Okay, purple. Put down some color. Doesn't matter that they're sloppy looking, because they're not going to look like that by the time I get finished with them. And you seriously just do your brush in a circle. Some will be bigger than others, and it doesn't really matter. They're all good. If the color runs like that's wanting to run because my clip fell off the book here to hold things in place, let it run. It's not going to hurt anything. Let's see if that color will work. Possibly on this pink. Ooh, look at that. Don't you like it when something works? These are like the easiest flowers in the history of ever to do. You just seriously just put the color down. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Looks like I've got something in my paper here that I need to deal with later. Later is a good time to do that. Not while I'm trying to teach you something. Okay, I like the way those worked. I hear a dog at the door trying to get in. I'm going to totally not let the dog in here while I'm doing this because that's not cool. A little bit of blue. The dog hears me talking and probably thinks Mark is in here. But ha! Mark is upstairs taking a nap. Aren't you glad I tell you my own personal life while we're doing this? Okay, excuse my arm going in front of the camera here a lot. I'm trying to get these colors to work, and that's my fault. I should have tested this stuff before I started doing this video, and I didn't think of that. Because I don't really do a lot of video. I'm trying to get better at it, so I'm going to just say, forget all that, and I'm going to go to this nice lovely white here that I just squirted on here so I know it's going to work. And we're going to make some awesome white flowers. Because that is brand new paint that I just put on here. Not some that I'm expecting to work from a few days ago. Okay, hopefully you can see that really is simple to make these flowers. There's not a big science to it. You just slap them down wherever you want them. If they go off the side of your page, that's cool too. And I hate this purple one here, so it's totally getting covered up. I dislike this purple one. How's that? These are kind of weak looking, but they'll look better when I get to doing the next step. They'll come around and look really good. Trust me. Let's put another petal in there, another petal there. We're going to put one here. Excuse my fingers. I really like this white on here. And we're going to have cute little flowers everywhere. I'm going to put one up here. If they go behind your other flowers, if they overlap, that is not an issue. We're going to totally address that when we do the next part too. So I'm going to call that done. That's truly all you do to get your flowers. Just kidding. I'm going to do another one up here because there's a place where it needs something. Kind of up here going off the paper a little bit. I'm going to let that dry and then we'll come back and finish this up. What you should grab to go to next, I just use a plain black Sharpie and it works great. So let me dry this and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let me remind you that this is what we're working on. I'm walking you through how I made these flowers. And what I did after I turned off the video was I went back, I added another layer to the flowers. I added more flowers in, I brightened them up a little bit by adding more color. And what I'm going to use to finish this off with is a Sharpie that's got the 2 points on the end and a white Jelly Roll pen for highlights. I started off with the smaller end and just going in the center of these flowers and just scratching out some lines. They don't have to look wonderful. That's one of the nice things about art journaling. You just go for it and do your thing, and they'll look like what they look like. So just do a bunch of these little circles for the centers. Some of these are off the page, so just do the best you can with it. There's one you can barely see. You'll be able to see it once I get done with it though. And just doesn't matter if you go over some of the color that's there, just add some circular parts for the middle. And yeah, some of them look like a mess right now. They'll look better by the time we're finished, I'll promise. Some little flowers, some bigger flowers. One nice thing about Sharpies is they're permanent. So if you had to come back and add some wet elements to this, Sharpies are not going to run. They're going to stay right where you put them. Here's a little one I missed right there. You can watercolor right over the top of Sharpies as long as this kind of Sharpie permanent marker. That's what the permanent part means. Okay, so it looks like I've got all of those done. So then I change and go to the big part of the pen. And you can see that's a big point on it. It's the fine. They call that a fine point. Wow. Okay, so go there and just pick a flower and you're going to just start drawing around those petals we laid down. That doesn't have to be wonderful. Just keep going around the petals. Some of these that are, can you see that? I honestly cannot tell. Some of the ones that kind of go off the paper, just do the best you can with them. Just make your little flower loops. I'm trying to make sure that I've got this all on the screen so you can see. And I understand that at some points my hand's covering up what I'm doing, but then you can see I'm literally just doing loops around these petals. Doesn't matter. See, like how there's color sticking out of it there, and how there's color sticking beyond here. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. And where my little lines don't meet there, it's okay too. Just add your petals. They can be round, they can be ovals. You could take your time and make them fancy if you want. The thing I liked about this project is I could knock it out in a hurry. Get something accomplished that day. Okay, here's one where a petal's going to go behind, so I'm just a little bit more careful about where I place the black ink. Just keep on with your petals. If you have gaps in between, that's okay too. Art journaling is just really about getting it down on the paper, creating. There's not going to be a test. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody cares. They just want to see that you did something. You want to be able to make yourself happy with your art. And for me, that means it's not all about perfection. It's about getting it done. Finding the time to put pretty colors on paper, because that's what I like, is pretty color. Yes, I do feel like I babble on during these things, and that's probably because I do. And I sort of didn't have a petal there, so I just kind of made one. This one here, I just had trouble really getting the color to cooperate there, so there's like a bunch of petals there. And you can tell I'm not taking my time and trying to go for perfection. And I'm mainly trying to just make sure there's color inside these little black loops. Here there's overlap, and I really like the orange one best, so I'm going to kind of make sure I can get as much of it as I can, and then that white petal will just fall in behind there. This purple didn't want to cooperate, that's why there's only one of these suckers. Okay. I believe I've got all the flowers done. Yes, some of them look sloppy. Like this little blue that has pieces sticking out. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Where it has little blue sticking out. It's okay, not a big deal. Go back to the smaller end, and we're going to add some, you know, I honestly don't know what these are called. They look like pleats to me. Some little lines to your flowers. Oh, look, there's another purple one over here. You notice these Sharpies just keep right on drawing right on top of all this paint. Acrylic and watercolor. When I did the first one, I actually used acrylic for the whole thing. I just didn't remember that when I started this one. And you see that acrylics and watercolors play very well together. So it's not a big deal. You can see I have no kind of precision. I may not actually finish every one of these while you watch, so that I can show you the rest of what I did. Let's call that good. Now, after I cut off this video, I'll come back and finish this other section. But for now, I want to show you how some leaves. There's no rhyme or reason with where you put these. I just look for kind of open areas like I've got here, and I'm going to come up with some little lines, and I'm just going to draw some leaves. In the Zentangle business, we call this poke leaf. You got to get used to, here, let me take these clips off and make it easier to maneuver. Get used to turning. I think I can fit another one in here. So I'm just going for some leaves in various locations. Trying to leave some open area here because we're going to put some white gel pen in there to create some accents. Let's do one from the opposite direction. My brain has to really think about how to do it when I draw it backwards. To me, it's backwards. Places where I don't have leaves, sometimes I just connect them flower to flower with some little lines. How'd you like that? Dude, that one upside down even. Not going to do that again. Smaller areas, maybe you don't do the double lines. Still like to have that little line though to add the highlights for the leaves. I'm trying to look every so often to make sure that I've still got this on the, got this where you can see and that it's not falling off the bottom of the screen here. Again, connect some of these flowers. Really not a lot of rhyme or reason how you do that either. It just kind of connects it all together. I'll come back after this video is over and add a lot more of those in, but I want to show you because I know that this is getting a little long. I take my white gel pen. This is a 10. They come in various sizes. I don't think it matters as long as you've got one that works. And then I just put some white dots inside these centers of the flowers. I know that has a better name than what I'm doing there, but I have no idea what it is. And if you have a little problem with your gel pen like I did here, you just wipe it off in your jeans and it's good to go. If you ever meet me in person, you'll notice that I have white stuff on my jeans all the time. Okay, so I'm not going to go for finishing every one of these off. I just want to give you an idea of what I'm doing. And then I also talked to you about these leaves, putting some white highlights in those little areas. It just kind of makes it pretty and gives it a little bit more pizzazz. And I'm sure that I'm going to lay my hand down on some wet gel pen stuff here in a minute and make a mess, because that's part of what I do too. I'm trying not to. Okay, and then you can also go, let's find a color flower that I've added the little marks into. You can go and just put a little dot on each petal, and it just kind of pops it up and makes it pretty. So add your highlights to your flowers, add them in the centers. Another thing you can do with your little fine point is to add just some little loopy lines in here. If you're a Zentangle artist, this is a good place to use some zingers. If you're not a Zentangle artist, you're probably wondering what the heck that is. They're really cute, and I will do a video on those. You could also do some little fescues. Little fescues are cute. But that gives you a basic idea of how I built that paper, built that page. Again, the first one was in the Hanamola Gray book. The paper was gray, which you can see from that. You'll notice it did not bleed through. This is where I slopped it over the edges. 55-pound paper, worked like a champ. This is no longer pinned down. You can see that it has dried pretty much flat. This little bit of bumpy you get back here, once I close it and leave it all night, you won't see that any longer. The only reason you can see the ghosting here is because I went over that red about 12 times trying to get that color. Other than that, it looks great and has worked fine. I hope that you will do this project in one of your books or on one of your pieces of art paper, and I wish that you would show it to me. You could come to my Facebook group, which is called Tangle All Around, and show it to us there. We'd love to see it. You can send it to me in an email through my blog at www.alicehendon.com. Thank you.